Here's 5 reasons why we call these Tasmanians devils. One of the devil's first adversaries is often their very own flesh and blood. They're known to battle with their siblings over a spot at the milk bar, of which there are only 4. This means that out of an average of 30 to 40 joeys, only the first 4 will latch and make it. And even then, as they grow from the size of a grain of rice, they continue to fight fiercely just for the right to survive. The devil's call sounds a lot less like a marsupial that only gets to about 9 to 26 pounds, and more like a person falling prey to a monster in the forest, where they're commonly heard. Think mountain lion, but somehow even more blood-curdling. Like a few other famous beasts we collectively don't want to meet in a dark alley, they have a bite force strong enough to crush bone, and their jaws can open up to 80 degrees, nearly rivaling the famous Tasmanian tiger. Go ahead, pet him. He don't bite. They're known to eat until they're practically comatose, nap inside the cavity of their prey, and then wake up just to start chowing down again. Talk about a bed and breakfast. By the way, don't think that if you end up on its path, you can escape by climbing a tree, because these guys are surprisingly agile when young, scaling trees like it's nothing, and mostly to get away from older devils, which see stray juveniles as less of an adoptable child and more of a little protein bar on legs. That being said, these are not evil animals. Devil is just a label we put on them, very recently compared to how long they've been stomping around Tasmania. They're just doing what they have to, and I love them for that.
When a snake tried to steal the eggs, the brave mother duck did everything she could to protect them. She managed to scare the snake away, but in the chaos, she accidentally stepped on and broke a few eggs. And others were affected by the cold because she couldn't stay on them. When the owner opened the eggs, the mother duck was worried. But little did she know that all of her ducklings were perfectly fine.
Right off the bat, that is not a snake, it's a Schultepusic, which is a type of legless lizard. Clearly somebody picked this poor thing up from its habitat, moved it into the duck's nest, and probably gave the duck a heart attack just trying to record it for content. So the answer is yes and no. Snakes did evolve from lizards, losing their legs along the way, but just having no legs and being a lizard does not make you a snake. Some major differences between snakes and lizards is lizards tend to have shorter bodies and long tails. Snakes are long-bodied with shorter tails by comparison. A snake's jaw, as we all know, is flexible, so it can swallow prey whole, while a lizard is able to grab and chew with its jaws. Different lizards also eat a much more varied diet than snakes, from fruits and vegetables to bugs and even other reptiles and small mammals. Snakes also can't blink because they have a fused eyelid, unlike most lizards. Lizards are also known to regrow their tails if they're severed. Snakes cannot do this. But there's a lot more than that sets them apart, so if you really want to hear more, drop a like and follow along.
You're making things difficult than what they are. Michaela, go ahead and do yours. What the fuck is that? Get the fuck out of.
That was a leopard gecko. Leopard geckos are some of the most popular reptiles in the pet trade. They're generally friendly, super cute, and fun to watch in their little enclosures. Unlike a lot of other geckos, they have movable eyelids and can blink, while most others do not. Which is why you've probably seen geckos licking their eyes in cartoons or in real life before. They're pretty entertaining to feed too, given they're active predators and will pounce on bugs like the little hunters they are. They can't stick to glass like geckos are commonly known to do, and they're not venomous or poisonous, which means they're completely harmless and only bite to defend themselves or when they mistake hands or even parts of their own bodies as prey. But you barely even feel it, meaning these little guys are totally safe to handle and nothing to be afraid of. Here are some noticeable differences between 2 of the most common lizards in the pet trade, the fat-tailed gecko and the leopard gecko. Fat-tails generally need higher humidity, living in savannas and areas with more vegetation, whereas leopard geckos are more at home in the drier, sandy climates like the deserts of northern Iraq. Fat-tails have darker eyes, while leopard geckos tend to have lighter eyes with easier to see pupils on average. Eye color can be affected by morph though. Morphs essentially referring to the different genetic patterns and colors that they can come in. There are many more morphs in leopard geckos than there are in fat-tails, but both can come in some very stunning combinations. Both eat insects and will thrive best off live prey like mealworms and crickets. Neither are good for cohabitation, which means if you have 2 geckos, same species or not, they do not need to be housed together. They will fight, and obviously this isn't what any responsible pet owner wants to see. So solitude is the best way to go, as is with most reptiles. African fat-tails are more likely to climb, although both are mainly terrestrial, preferring to stay on the ground, under foliage, or rocks. Whichever you have or choose to get, their care is give or take the same except for temperature and humidity levels and how they'll handle being handled. But otherwise, it's a very similar and rewarding experience to own one and give it the best life possible. This video is dedicated to a leopard gecko and a fat-tailed gecko, both named Yoshi. Do you have a pet lizard? Let me see them in the comments. Happy Easter! Here's 5 things you need to know about the bunny you got today that you probably didn't ask for. Number 1. Rabbits are fragile. They don't take to rough handling very well at all, so put some thought into it before you hand your new friend over to a younger child, and always supervise them around other pets. It's best not to leave them around carnivores at all though, because they can literally die from the stress it puts on their body from just being near a predator. Number 2. Rabbits poop a lot. On average, they poop 200 to 300 dry pellets a day. That's a lot of forbidden Cocoa Puffs just laying around. That being said, they need to be cleaned up after, but believe it or not, you might notice them eating some. Aside from the normal type, bunnies also make special types of poop called secotropes that they dispose of like any other animal and then recycle. So yes, if you've ever seen your rabbit eating literal crap, don't be alarmed. This is normal, and they do it to digest it a second time to get all those nutrients out of it. Number 4. They cannot survive just off carrots. Please make sure you give them a diverse diet of grass hay like Timothy, leafy greens, high quality pellets, and some occasional treats, like certain fruits. Number 5. This is probably pretty obvious given all the sayings there are about it, but if you get 2 rabbits and they're of different genders, do not keep them together. You will have tiny rabbits hopping around in a little over 30 days, give or take. Now with all this in mind, enjoy your rabbit, and more importantly, take good care of it. Okay, bye.